Hello, my name's Angela from Angela Simpson Functional Medicine. Thanks for completing the hormone quiz. And based on your scoring, it looks as though your main hormone imbalance symptom has to do with low progesterone levels. And this is really, really common for females in the age group of basically 35 and beyond. And there's a few reasons for this. Naturally, our body's progesterone levels are lowering as we age. So this is not an abnormal process, but what can be abnormal about it and what can create a lot of symptoms is if your progesterone levels are lowering too quickly. And there's several different reasons for this. And if you feel like you're suffering with mood swings, sadness as soon as you hit ovulation, depression, anxiety, maybe it's up and down all over the place for the last 2 weeks leading up to your period. I find women tell me this is very, very common when progesterone levels are low. Maybe you're not sleeping well, especially as you lead up to your cycle. You might be waking up several times in the night or having a hard time getting back to sleep. You might also notice that you're getting headaches at different times of the month. It might be leading up to and during ovulation, or it might be more leading up to and during the start of your cycle. Could even be a combination of the two. You might also notice that you're having low energy, and it could be particularly bad in that week leading up to your cycle if your progesterone levels are really low. So, if you are dealing with any or all of these symptoms, I'm sure it's affecting your life quite a bit. And it's good to note that there are some things that you can do to help you with this. And one of the things I want to point out is just that process of why progesterone can lower so quickly. And one of those reasons has to do with stress. So, quite commonly, females are under a lot of what I would call chronic low grade stress, which means that stress is always coming at us from various different angles. It could be emotional stress, it could be the stress or just the busyness of everyday life. It could even be some physical stress on our body that we may or may not be aware of. And what I mean by that is it could even be some gut infections that are going on inside your body that you're not aware of, could be causing some reactions in your immune system, inflammation that's blocking your progesterone from being processed and used properly. So there's all these different potential reasons why progesterone can be low. But if we are under stress, what's going to happen, regardless of the source, is our body is going to start to produce more cortisol to respond to this stress. Cortisol is produced primarily by our adrenal glands in our body. However, what can happen is if we are under stress and we can't relieve this stress, and it's just a constant thing day after day, is sometimes the adrenals actually run out of the capability to make enough cortisol for the levels that our body and brain are requiring them at. And so what can happen is what's called a progesterone steal. And this is where the body steals progesterone to actually convert it and make cortisol to help us cope and manage the stress in our everyday lives. And so the net result of this, of course, is our progesterone lowering and lowering too quickly for our age. So, what are some of the obvious solutions for this? Of course, one of the most obvious things, it may or may not be easy, but is to lower your stress. And so, again, where is that stress coming from? Is it physical stress? Is it emotional stress? Is it the busyness of everyday life stress? Can you lower it? If not, how can you buffer it and have resilience to it? So there's various different techniques for this: yoga, meditation, even taking, even if it's just a timeout, 5, 10, 15 minutes to yourself, doing some deep breathing. All of these things can actually help with resiliency to stress if we can't lower it. But of course, the ideal is that we lower it, and it'll slow down the steal of progesterone and that conversion to cortisol, allowing our progesterone levels to recover, which can help symptoms quite a bit. The other thing that can help is some diet related changes. So often when our progesterone is out of balance, especially in that back half of the cycle when you become more symptomatic, often there will be cravings for different types of foods. So they're either more sugary or salty. Sometimes there's a craving for caffeine and things that will give instantaneous energy, especially if fatigue is one of your primary symptoms as you get closer and closer to your cycle. So, trying to really curtail these things, be aware of it, and have some good substitutes, such as healthy whole grains versus those simple starchy white carbohydrates. Making sure that you have lots of healthy fruits and vegetables on hand, that you're cooking whole food meals, you're not eating on the run, eating packaged processed foods. And then the other thing you can do in addition to this is you can add in some healthy oils that actually help with progesterone production. A couple of the most common ones are GLA oils called borage oil and evening primrose oil. So these could be added in addition to making some food modifications. And all of these things are very, very helpful for gradually starting to reset that process of optimizing progesterone production and lowering some of the factors that could be causing progesterone to lower too quickly for your age. So I hope this gives you some ideas as a starting point. And if you want to learn more about this, about what you could specifically do for your individualized needs for your body, for low progesterone levels or other hormone imbalances that you think you might have along with this, please feel free to book a call. You can book a free complimentary consult with me through my website, www.angelasimpsonfunctionalmedicine.ca, and we can talk about how to find a solution to get your hormones and your health rebalanced for the long term. Thank you and take care.